I've got another Bluetooth speaker for you today. This is the Tronsmart Bang Mini. This retails at a time of recording at $89.99. You can also get the Bang, which is, I think, £120, so a little bit more expensive than the Bang Mini. This is a 50-watt speaker, Bluetooth 5.3, and as it says on the box, it's made for parties. It's a Bluetooth speaker. There's so many Bluetooth speakers out there at the moment. So many different types and styles, and just you can just get anything when it comes to Bluetooth speakers. But this one is more your kind of boombox variant again, slightly on the larger side. And to me, this feels like it's comparable to this one from Anker, which I reviewed a while ago. And this is kind of my baseline when it comes to this type of size of speaker. It's got great battery life and it sounds really, really good. So this is my baseline. This is what I'm sort of comparing to and would like to see similar performance from the Tronsmart speaker. Anyway, I've already taken it out of the box, so I'm not going to open the box there. Instead, I'm going to show you the speaker. And this is a fine looking thing, isn't it? This is really nice finish. I personally really like the style of this. Beautiful kind of curves and lines and all this. This is a material kind of finish on here. It's not just metal speaker grill type stuff. It's almost like it's covered in some kind of material, you know, like cloth almost, and just got a really nice feel about it. The buttons across here, your standard Bluetooth style buttons, power and volume minus, volume plus, and play and stop. And then you've got sound pulse technology. This is a thing from Tronsmart, and I'll go back onto that in a second because it is kind of amusing. And this is for stereo pairing, so you can pair two of these together because, of course, Bluetooth 5.3, Bluetooth 5 and above supports that. And then we have our what seem to be mandatory RGB lights as well. But let's just turn this on quickly. And as soon as we turn it on, look, you get these extra LEDs here that show you the status of the battery, which is good. I mean, the whole thing just looks great. And I'm not a fan of RGB lights. I think they're a bit of a waste of power, a bit of a waste of time. Don't really add much to a speaker, but damn, the implementation on these is good. They've made these look absolutely great. In fact, I'm going to turn off my studio lights here. My studio lights. Let's turn these down. Where's my other remote control gone? Over there. Let's just turn these off. I'm going to leave this light on because it adds a kind of bit of mood, doesn't it? But look at those. Really nicely done. So sure, they've done a fine job of implementing the RGB lights on this particular speaker, but I still do feel they're kind of pointless. It has, as I think I mentioned, 50 watts of music power, which should be ample for most people. Battery life, I think, is 30 watt hours or just slightly under, which is pretty good. I imagine that'll be slashed massively by the lights, but just turn them off. You can just cycle through the modes and turn those off. And this is IPX6. It's not IPX7. A lot of speakers that I've looked at in the past have been IPX7, which means you can actually drop them into water and submerge them in water down to kind of 1 meter, but not with this one. You don't want to do that because it's just IPX6. Bit of a shame. The ports on the back, if I can get in here, this has got like the thickest bit of rubber on here that I've ever seen on the back of a speaker. Look at that. It's like this massive big doorstop of rubber. So just going through what we've got underneath the sealed port here. We've got the Type-C USB connector for charging. And then we have a trans flash or a micro SD card, as we would usually refer to those as. I don't think too many people have music files anymore. I'm sure there are some people out there that have kind of MP3s and WAV files and things, but I don't think many people listen to music like that anymore. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you do, you can stick them all on a micro SD and put that in there. There is also an auxiliary in too, which is good because it comes with a little 3.5mm cable, so you can attach it to any device you want and just use this as a straight amplifier, bypassing the need to use the SBC Bluetooth codec, because that only supports the SBC codec, so you don't get the kind of quality you'd get with AAC or aptX. So if you want to bypass that completely and just go analog, got an auxiliary in port there. And then we have USB, which I believe can be used for attaching as like a drive to it to allow more files to go in, but this also can be used as a power bank as well. So if you want to charge your phone, you can take some power from this battery and put it into whatever device you want, whatever USB device you want. Pairing is really straightforward. On certain Android phones, you can do it via NFC, and the NFC contact point is just here at the top, and that won't work on an iPhone, unfortunately. You can also do calls on this, so it has a microphone which is they don't actually show you where, but if you kind of just move across here while you're recording, you can figure out that the microphone is roughly around here. This is a test of the Tronsmart Bang Mini call quality at a distance of 20 centimeters. This is a test of the call quality at a distance of 50 centimeters. This is a test of the call quality at 1 meter. This is a test of the call quality at 3 meters. There is no app support at all for this. I was quite surprised when I went into the Tronsmart app, because I've already added my T7 speakers that I reviewed recently, and I couldn't find the Bang Mini. And looking on the product listing and also on the box, I just can't find any reference to an app. So it doesn't seem like you can do any kind of custom EQ of this speaker, and possibly also no firmware updates either. I don't know, but maybe they'll add it in a future revision. But let's just see, first of all, how easy it is to pair. I doubt it's going to be very difficult. So I've just turned it on there. Go straight into my Bluetooth. And there you can see at the bottom, Tronsmart Bang Mini. Simple as that. So there's no doubt this is a good looking speaker. Mentioned at the start, I really do like the style of it, I like the design of it, but they do seem to have missed out on a few key things. No app support with no EQ possibility, no firmware upgrades, anything like that, and the IPX7 rating that you often get on speakers these days. But just mentioning the EQ side of things, there's also no sort of X bass or added bass. A lot of the time you'll have a button which will just allow you to push the kind of bass up and maybe the top end as well, and just give it that extra kind of that richer sound that a lot of people like. And there's no option to do that on this either. That you do, however, have this button here, which is the sound pulse technology. But I mentioned that before, and I want to just go back to it because they actually give you a dedicated card that talks about sound pulse technology. But there's all this text on this card, and it kind of doesn't say anything at all. So what is sound pulse technology? Well, sound pulse, it's Tronsmart's patented algorithm, an upgraded version of DSP technology which works alongside a customized chip and large power chamber. Just use the time codes in the description if you want to skip forward on this bit. With this combination of advanced engineering and sophisticated software, Tronsmart sound pulse technology delivers more balanced, more detailed and more defined audio. Okay, so I don't really know what it is, but this is the bit that I find highly amusing. And I'm not trying to make any fun of a poor translation here or mock a translation for something. This is just poorly written. How can Tronsmart sound pulse technology do that? It says Tronsmart applies the customized power cells used on cars valued at thousands of dollars to a portable Bluetooth speaker. The power cells ensure that the instantaneous power supply of the speaker can be amplified by a factor of 5, while the other speakers use the energy cells, which cannot ensure a stable performance, although it is only amplified by a factor of 3. It's like you upgraded your car engine from a 4-cylinder to a 6-cylinder engine. What? So what are the characteristics of Tronsmart sound pulse? Counteract sound defects by eliminating any harsh noise. Change the sound output position of the chamber. But it's just nonsense. I'm absolutely none the wiser after reading this as to what this sound pulse does. And when I press the button, it makes a difference, but I'm not sure it makes any kind of positive difference. It just kind of sounds a bit different. So anyway, yeah, I said earlier that this kind of reminds me of the Anker Motion Boom. And therefore, that's my kind of baseline, because I think that sounds really good. For a speaker that size, it sounds really good. So, does this sound as good? Spoiler, no, it doesn't. It sounds quite harsh. It sounds quite brash. It sounds pretty rough around the edges in comparison. There is no comparison sound quality-wise between this and this. They've got their styling right. They've got the fact that you can put the micro SD card in right. They've got auxiliary in, which you don't have on the Anker. There's quite a few things on here that people might like, but it's a speaker, so surely sound quality is most important. What I'll do quickly now is just play you an example of a song using both. Now, it's not going to be the best sort of test, because I'm just using my shotgun mic here, but I'm going to try it, and you can decide for yourself which one you think sounds best. I just got my son to come downstairs and just played him a song that he knows and he likes, and played it on both, and he was just like, no, that's not as good. And he's not into this sort of stuff, you know. But he could immediately hear that the Tronsmart, unfortunately, didn't sound as good. So let's just give it a whirl. Just a couple of test tracks on there. These are non-copyright tracks, so I can play them. But let's just have a listen to this Time Jumper one. Terrible. Okay, the main thing I'm noticing is possibly caused by the fact this does have the bass button on it, and so it's just got that sort of much deeper bass, much sweeter, higher treble. Just overall, let's try the country track.
I've got a million emails that I haven't read. Got a break path. Yeah, we're flying. We got 10 miles of open road. That's in the radio.
It's not the same. It sounds all right, but it just sort of lacks in any kind of. It's all kind of a bit mid-rangey, a little bit harsh. There's no sort of nice, sweet, crisp treble on it at all. I don't want to go into too much describing a sound, because it is fairly subjective, and it is also something where I find that people do start talking a load of nonsense pretty quickly when they start talking about kind of like, oh my god, the sound stage was widened and we could hear the nuance of the instruments and the sweet treble, all that sort of stuff. But definitely, to my ears anyway, does not. I prefer the sound of the Motion Boom. So if you particularly like the style of the Tronsmart Bang Mini, then go for it. And there's a lot of fairly good things going for it. But I would probably recommend at this price you go for a different speaker. I will put links for the Tronsmart in the description if you would like to check out the price at the time you're watching this. But other than that, thank you very much for watching this review. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you again soon.